Good afternoon, Zambia, and once again, thank you for choosing BMTV and making it your number one television channel across the length and breadth of this great nation we call home, or we call Zambia. My name is Isaac Chipatanga, and of course, for the next 60 minutes or so, we discuss everything to do with the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Sincere apologies for bringing the program slightly late. This is owing to a technical fault that was beyond our control. But obviously, we are here and are ready to give you what has transpired in the last 24 hours at the 2026 FIFA World Cup. And of course, I am joined by two gentlemen who are going to help dissect, analyze, and give you that in-depth look into what happened yesterday, as well as give you previews in as far as what you can expect to lie ahead. On my immediate left, Ponga Liwewe joins me on set. Ponga, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, and of course, on the far side is Geza Nimbe, resident football analyst at BMTV. Gez, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you so much, Isaac. It's good to be back. Of course, I think this is the platform where we need to expand and acknowledge where the football has been exhibited at the World Cup, and moreover, comparing all the continents gathering at one in three countries, exhibiting what type of football they have been, I think, playing in their various continents.
134 goals have been scored across the 44 matches that we've witnessed so far at the 2026 World Cup. We'll be waiting to see whether the next batch of matches will see the back of the net bulge again over the course of this particular evening. And of course, tomorrow we'll be giving you those fixtures a little bit later on as the program progresses. But let's begin by looking back at a historical day again at the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Ponga, it's almost like it's deja vu, because on the day that, people were marking 40 years of, Diego Maradona's absolute, blistering performance against the English with the hand of God and the goal of the century, a certain Lionel Messi, also wearing the certain number 10 jersey for the same national team, Argentina, decides, well, I'm just going to, become the all-time goal scorer. How do you sum up Argentina's performance so far in this particular tournament?
I think they've been quite impressive. They've played very well. They've hit the target regularly. Messi has been the most prolific. In fact, the top scorer so far in the tournament. I think he's lived above all expectations. We were saying at 39, 38, 39, he's going to be able to keep up the momentum. He's shown that he's still the player we knew him previously in the past, and he's definitely got a lot more to offer football.
He showed us that he's human. He missed the penalty earlier on in that particular encounter. But what does that tell us about his mentality to just basically say, well, I've had a setback and push it to the side and just concentrate on the next, opportunity that comes his way and ultimately be the match winner for this Argentinian side?
Very focused young player, because he came into the game, misses a penalty, but he's not rattled by that situation, bounces back, scores twice. So he's definitely a special player, definitely head and shoulders above any other player who wishes to be put in the same bracket.
Okay.
That's targeted at Ronaldo.
Yes, he became only the second player in World Cup history to score in 6 consecutive matches at the World Cup. Talk to us or emphasize about, not just the longevity that he has, but the consistency he keeps on performing at this very high level.
Oh, very professional, because you look at where he's coming from, of course, in Europe, he made his own story. Where he conquered the Europe. Of course, some people, they might be debating, he never went outside Spain for him to showcase of his ability of scoring goals apart from being in Spain. But in terms of scoring goals, I think he won everything. He's got all what it takes to be one of the greatest players that the world has ever experienced, or maybe witnessed with their naked eyes, those who are still alive. But those who are yet to be born will tell them that there was Messi, who had, I think, everything in him. But again, talks about the management. Also, Isaac, let us not write off where he's coming from. The coach, the management that is really managing, even him being at Miami and even him being at the World Cup. It's all about what type of trainings do you want. Because we've seen the energy that Messi just brings up. It's all about the training, how you are managing the training, because it's odd. But in terms of, I think, how he's able to contribute to the team, I think it's massive, brilliant. It explains the purity of football, that you can say this is proper football that we are watching. Talking about One single player scoring all the goals, 5 goals that Argentina they have scored. I think it's amazing. It's unbelievable and brilliant record that he's really having. But of course, one thing that I'll tell you is that this record of being the top scorer at the World Cup will not last for long because Mbappe, he's just on his neck.
You almost read my mind. The top 3 in terms of the goal scorers, we'll be looking at them in a moment or two on your screens. It seems like if you look at these 3 players, it's almost like they're having their mini World Cup inside the World Cup. Ponga, how much of a motivating factor is it when you see in the early kickoff, Messi has already scored twice? How does that motivate the likes of Mbappe to go and do the same? Haaland to probably even try and outdo the little magician, the number 10 from Argentina.
Yeah, I think it's probably a little bit harder for Haaland because he's playing in the Norwegian side, who are not maybe the strongest in world football. So he may not find that momentum all along. Maybe in the first round, yes, because they're playing slightly weaker opposition. But as the tournament progresses, I think it will become a lot more difficult for him. But for Mbappe, I believe age is on his side as well as the form up front. He will definitely be looking to break Messi's record. If not in this World Cup, then probably the next World Cup, because Messi, I don't think will be there, but Mbappe will definitely be there for another World Cup or 2.
Okay. I'm looking at the statistics. Everybody's hailing, Lionel Messi in this particular, match against, Austria. But at the end of the day, it was Austria up against Argentina. And I want to speak, to the defensive, solidity of this Argentinian side. Everybody's talking about Messi, but if you look at the statistics, they've only allowed 1 shot on target against Austria yesterday, and they didn't allow any against, Algeria in their opening, match of this particular tournament. Do we give enough credit to that, defensive backline of this Argentinian side at the expense of just, focusing on Messi?
Well, I think they play very simple football. If you look at their defenders, it's all about, I think, one pass. Then they pass each other, and I think they can build up. It's the team that looks like they're not building up from the back, but they're building up because they've got that experience. You talk about them, you look at the way they're pushing. When they have got the ball, their focus is to drive the ball in the midfield. When in the midfield, if you look at the Argentinian team, it's the team that keeps a lot of position with the brilliant and experience that is very difficult to take a ball from them.
Yeah.
Hence, it's most of the time it's being played in the midfield. And the second line is very difficult to break it because why? They have got strong holding midfielders. You look at McAllister sometimes, who just be, I think, running up. These players that have really developed a system whereby almost front line, everyone looks like they are looking for Messi. Why? If they pass the ball to Messi, then you see most of the strikers, they'll just land because they know that Messi knows where to find us. If in the process of finding them, then Messi creates the space. Sometimes look at even the last goal that he scored yesterday. It was all about the brilliance. He shoots, then the rebound. Again, he loosely collected it, and also he shoots. In the process, he bounces back, and then he's already in the position, and he scores that one. So, in terms of the defense, they know. Sometimes they don't want to hold too much ball. They'll just play it and float it in the midfield. Then in the midfield, they know that they've got skilled, very physical players who are able to contain the pressure. I think for me, at the moment, they look to be one of those very tight defenders at the World Cup.
Okay. I know many of the bookies out there, Ponga, don't have Argentina as probably the favorites. They have France maybe ahead of them, Spain probably, even England most likely are ahead of this Argentina side.
But England being ahead of Argentina.
Well, that's what the bookies are saying. It's not me who's saying it. It's the bookies.
Is it on Soya Book or KK Foundation?
According to many people.
I think 2 World Cups in a row is very difficult. So maybe that's why the bookies will look at history and say it doesn't favor Argentina. But looking at the form of them, I have to rate them as one of the better sides in this World Cup, and definitely one of the sides with the potential to go all the way.
We'll return to this subject of looking at Lionel Messi and his impact in our topic of discussion a little bit later on in the program, as we ask you the question, Is Lionel Messi the greatest of all time? My guest here will be able to weigh in with their thoughts, but also we appreciate your thoughts in the comment section on our Facebook page if you are watching us online and on the go via that Facebook handle of BMTV Zambia channel 114. Let's quickly move on, guys, to Algeria up against Jordan. They came back from a go down, the Desert Foxes. They showed that, that they've got that hunger to try and, progress beyond the group stages. How do we read or summarize that performance by the Africans against, this Jordan side that's making its debut at the World Cup?
Well, I think if you look at how Algeria have just played their game, I think the first game they are not very impressive, but they have really improved.
Yeah.
And you're looking at Africa. This is the Algeria that has been to the World Cup before. And you look at it and say that if the performance of Cape Verde is really making us so proud, then what of us that behaves to be the team that has having a lot of experience maybe at the World Cup, and also we've got the stars that have been at the World Cup before. I think they were equal to the task. Coming from a go down, then you are able to win the game. That tells you that I think they are making Africa proud. And of course, I think for me, I can tell you that all the teams that has gone to the World Cup, apart from Tunisia, I think 9 teams, they are counted very, very well. If teams like that can be, I think, eliminated like Senegal, you can understand them because they have met giants, teams that are playing good football. Like France,
they still have a chance, though.
They still have got a chance. Yeah. But in terms of, I think, how Algeria they played, I think they played well. This is how you win back the souls of your own country. After losing it, the first game, the next game, you're able to win. I think for me, that gives the motivation, that gives the strength, saying that the last game, if they win, they're going to advance to last 32. Precisely, I believe that we can have close to maybe 5 or 4 teams qualifying to the last 38. That will be still like it used to be, like 4 teams, I think, participating at the World Cup. So I think for me, it's amazing. And Algeria should be really now focusing on the next game, knowing that yesterday they did very well and they played good football. Of course, you might be asking yourselves against Jordan, but Jordan has not been a pushover. So I think for me, it's a great motivation to not only to Algerians, but also to Africa.
Okay. Ponga, just one more line on this Algerian side before they go into their third encounter. It's a winner takes all because they're up against Austria, who also have 3 points in this particular group, but Austria have got a better goal difference. How do the Algerians then approach this particular match? Because the onus is on them really to take the game to Austria, because with Austria, a draw is good enough for them.
Yeah, I think when you look at Algeria and Austria, where Austria is in world football and Algeria, I think the gap is not that significant that Algeria would have to be very negative in how they approach the game. I think they have to be confident, play to their strengths, which is to attack, like we've known them when they play in the African game.
Yeah.
Look for the opportunities and get the goals, and then try and seal things once they've taken up the lead. But they definitely have against Austria a team that they can manage to contain when on a face-to-face battle with them.
Let's wrap up the group by looking at how they stand after match day 2 in Group J. It is Argentina, head and shoulders above the rest on 6 points at the summit there. Austria and, of course, Algeria, both on 3 points. But we alluded to the fact that Algeria put an inferior goal difference of -2, meaning that they need to get a victory in the match against Austria to catapult them to 6 points. A draw doesn't do them many favors, because they will still have the same number of points, but they'll be in 3rd position and potentially look to get into the round of 16 using the back door of one of those playoff place or third best playoff positions in the other group. So they will be looking to get all 3 points in that regard. But Jordan are completely out in as far as the tournament is concerned, because whatever result that they can get in terms of the head-to-head, they are still lacking, because they've lost both matches to the likes of Austria and, of course, Algeria. So they are definitely out of the competition. Let's move on to matters in as far as Group I at this particular World Cup. And particularly, let's focus on France. They beat, Iraq by a tune of 3 goals. Expected result and performance by the French, Ponga?
No, definitely. I mean, Mbappe was an informed player, scoring twice. Dembele hit the score. sheet again. He also scored again. So it was a result that was expected. Nothing less than what we saw. France dominated in all aspects: the possession, shots on goal, every aspect that was positive to get the result they got in their favor. So therefore, I think nothing surprising in this result here. I think they will feel the French that they've capitalized on a weaker side and taken advantage and progressed just as well as they should have.
This match, I guess, was disrupted for over 2 hours owing to, the rain and the thunderstorms that came, pouring down. How much did this affect this Iraqi side? Because they were in the game at halftime. At least they were just, training by a goat, but afterwards, the floodgates opened, so to speak, and they just lost concentration. How much of an impact was that huge delay of about 2 hours?
Well, I think both teams, they're in the same environment, where I think they experienced some of the very bad weather. But of course, the game resumed. I was surprised when I was thinking that the game was already done. Then I woke up, then I was like, I'm watching two games. Well, Senegal. Okay. So then later on, I found out that there was bad weather. So I think I went to talk about France. I think they'll tell you and they'll show you the reason why PSG, they are the champions. They are champions in the Champions League, where they are coming from France, and hence they are ruthless in terms of scoring goals. Talking about it, I think Dembele, I was very happy for him because I think there's so much debate in France also, saying that I think this boy, I think is more of a lethal than Mbappe sometimes. But Mbappe has shown. Look at the clinical goals that he's able to finish, brilliant goals that he's able to score. So I think in terms of France, not doubt about it. Already we knew that I think they're going to put Iraq on the sweat because they've been really scoring good football. I think they are firing. At the moment, I can tell you that at the World Cup, they should be having the most maybe dangerous strikers that they are having because they play as a team. They are very young and they have got so much energy. Whoever comes in also is going to score. You're talking about, I think, they are made with a lot of strikers that are able to deliver at a given time. So I think Iraq is not disappointing because I believe they could have scored more than three goals. But in terms of 3 goals, I think for me, they remain with an integrity. So I think kudos to France. They have done massively very well.
He touched on the issue of Dembele. The official statistics show us that in 20 matches in major competitions, both in the World Cup and, of course, European, championships, Dembele is yet to find the goal. But yesterday, he took that monkey off his back by scoring in a major tournament. How much of a relief is that for the current Ballon d'Or holder?
Definitely much of a relief because he needs to at least hit the target from time to time. He may not be an out-and-out striker. He plays maybe more on the wide side, but it's expected for him to put in his fair share of goals when it comes to scoring.
And obviously,
so doing it.
The debate is always raging between him and Mbappe in the fact that Mbappe scores in crucial matches and he scores in qualifiers or friendly matches and maybe that's where the bone of contention is. How important is it for him to score in this important match at a major tournament for his confidence levels moving forward?
Well, I think it's very important because now he's got so much confidence. He can tell the people that I can score even at the World Cup because everyone is craving to score a goal at the World Cup because the most very difficult, I think, tournament that when you score, other players, they'll go there without scoring goal, but they are top-notch strikers. So it's not easy. But again, like Uncle Ponga said, most we play is wide. France, talk about the person that has been playing, I think, in terms of all the striker there. Giroud has been there for quite some time. Sometimes doesn't even score goals, but he'll be there. The coach knows. The coach could know the reason why he was playing Giroud because of his movements, because he knows he's able to hold the ball and pass Mbappe. Hence, Mbappe has been having some of the clear chances that he could have been scoring. But also, when we analyze him, we should understand that Mosi is coming from wide. Just the same as today we talk about Olise. Olise Mosi, he comes from wide. So sometimes it depends on your cuts. How accurate are they? Because you need to cut inside, then later on sometimes you have got an opportunity to shoot. But in terms of sometimes looking at when Dembele, sometimes you play according to the instructions what the coach tells you. But Mbappe has been having a clear chance because he's either he's playing on top and also maybe as the second striker. So I think for me that comparison is not fair enough in terms of Dembele's fans. But I think what will grow up together in unity is these players need to be appreciated for their countries. They have been really very active. They have been really massively contributing to the team. So hence, when we are comparing, please let us appreciate what both players they are going to do. Not only apart from that, because if players like Giroud was able to be appreciated sometimes without scoring goals, I think for me, even this one, I think he's too young. He's still contributing to the team. Hence, I think when I'm Dembele fan, I'll tell you that I think we should be really proud of. It's not easy to have a player who is a Ballon d'Or winner.
Well, as the dust settles on the 100th appearance for Kylian Mbappe in a French shirt, ironically, the youngest player yesterday to get to 100 appearances or 100 caps for the French national team at the tender age of 27. He marked it with those 2 goals. His official statistics now stand at 60 goals scored in 100 appearances for Le Bleu. So congratulations to him. Just one more line as we wrap up on, France's exploits yesterday. There's a battle now that is brewing, isn't it? Between, Messi and Kylian Mbappe, these two, the front runners for the Golden Boot. In your opinion, who do you think will ultimately win the Golden Boot race come the 19th of July this year?
I think it's a question of who will play the more games. So if one of the team goes all the way through to the final, I think whoever's team goes through, that player has a greater chance of being the top scorer for this World Cup.
Okay, sitting on the fence, diplomatic answer. What's your thought?
I'll be brave enough. I see Mbappe to be the top scorer because I'm looking at...
For this tournament or this overall tournament? Moving on?
No, overall, definitely I will not debate about it. Right. Kylian Mbappe has got high chances. Because we believe that, Messi maybe might be his last World Cup. But Kylian Mbappe has just played the 2 World Cups. And this one should be the 3rd World Cup, isn't it? So I think he's got a lot of chances for him to make sure that he'll be the best striker in the world playing at the World Cup and scoring a lot of goals. He will score more than 20 goals. I'll be honest with you. And I will sit down one day and tell you that this is what Mbappe has done.
With the longevity of players, a certain Lamine Yamal, he's just 18.
Mbappe is an out-and-out number 9, which is not the case with Yamal.
By the end of this tournament, Lamine Yamal might possibly have 4 or 5 in this tournament, and then he still has 4 or 5 more World Cups to go.
What to be difficult?
So maybe the mark of 20 will be attainable, especially that now, moving forward, the World Cup has 48 teams, meaning that people like Lamine Yamal will benefit from that fact. There's a possibility even in the future, during the course of his career, maybe we might even see 60, 62 teams or 64 teams at the World Cup. So you never know.
He might even one day become a number 9 like Ronaldo.
Exactly.
But I think that would be very important. And according to this generation, then it means that because now we are phasing out from Ronaldo and Messi issue. As we are stepping in, we should be expecting players like Kylian Mbappe, Yami. I think for me, those are players that should be now stepping in and let the people now start debating who is the best.
Okay.
We are shifting from Ronaldo Messi issue. Now we should be getting to who is the best amongst these other players like Kevin Olise. So this is where we are heading.
Okay.
Yeah.
Group I is definitely one of the toughest groups at this particular World Cup. And yesterday we did witness Norway beating Senegal by a tune of 3 goals to 2. A certain Erling Haaland once again also on target with a brace in this particular encounter to ensure that the Norwegians run out 3-2 victors in this particular match. It puts Senegal in a very, very tricky, situation. But Ponga, I want to get your thoughts on the fact that off the field of play, we had so many headlines about this, Senegalese side, unpaid allowances for winning the Africa Cup of Nations, unpaid allowances for qualifying for this tournament. The contract for the coach is up in arms. We don't know whether he signed the contract and so on and so forth. Could this be a major reason that has contributed to a rather lackluster, lukewarm performance, especially in this game where they were expected to get something out of it?
It definitely has a bearing, because if you look under the previous president, Senghor, who recently left office, none of these issues we've talked about have ever surfaced with the Senegalese team, and they've been able to play at their best, focus on delivering on the pitch. But now all these distractions have come in, and it's I would believe that they have definitely played a factor in Senegal not perhaps giving the best they can in this World Cup.
The result has been compounded by now. We know that the goalkeeper, the number one choice, Edouard Mendy, came off in the 63rd minute. If he doesn't make it for the crucial final group match, how much of an impact will this have on the Senegalese side and their chances of progressing beyond this group?
Well, so far, if you look at Mendy, was really outstanding yesterday, because in the first half we managed to keep I think Senegal at a balanced sheet. I think he saved quite two chances that I was able to see and say this was, I think, a clear chances he could have, but I think he had to stand tall in between the sticks. But again, like they always say, especially the goalkeepers, not all the players, the goalkeepers, when you are growing old, at least you are becoming the finest wine. I think he showed that yesterday, but I hope that he'll bounce back in between the sticks next game. I think yet there's nothing, I think the fear of what could have, I think maybe how he could have just walked off the pitch, maybe because of an injury. But I think I expect him to be back in between the sticks. But I'll tell you one thing about Senegal, of course. I think those issues outside the pitch might be really, I think, disturbing them. But yesterday they played not a very bad game. I think we have to understand also, I think, in terms of, I think, the age, the players, they're aging. Look at the first goal that Norway they scored. It was, I think, the poor pass, the poor clearance by the captain of the side, I think, Koulibaly. I'll be honest with you on this platform, if you want to understand me, is when players they are heading to Saudi Arabia, I think Saudi Arabia is a destination that is very good for cultivation and harvest. But in terms of the quality of the players that are still there, I think the longevity sometimes just dimmed. Because I've seen the players who are there who have bounced back to the World Cup, the pace. They are lacking pace. This is not the same Ronaldo that we used to know. It's not the same Nunes that we used to know from Uruguay. It's not the same players. Most of the players...
Even Mahrez missed a lot of chances yesterday.
Yes, I think there's a problem there. But again, I'll tell you this. Europe is the best destination to play football from. When you come out from Europe and you go to Saudi Arabia, it's the best in terms of quality and harvest. But in terms of football, their league is still lacking the pace.
Many people were saying it's a farmers' league. It was the same perception that they had with the MLS in the United States, but Messi is proving us wrong.
No.
DePaul is proving us wrong. They are putting in quality performances for that Argentinian side.
No, but America, I think they have improved. I think Angopanga can explain to that. They have improved because it's not all about inviting these old tired legs who are there, but look at their youth. They have been doing fine. If you talk about girls' football, it's outstanding. It's marvelous. They have just managed their football. I know that in terms of now they have managed, at least you are able to see players coming from US and they are playing in England. And they are managing to sustain and living and being competitive in England. So that tells you that there's talent reigning in America. So I think this is the fate that Senegal yesterday they suffered. Even man is no longer the same man that we used to watch. Hence, I hope that the last game that they're going to play, they'll contribute to the play as a team. They'll need to win this one because of their integrity. They are the African champions that I know. Others I don't know, but in terms of those who won on the pitch, should be really Senegal.
The next generation is not really coming to the party, because if you look at Nicholas Jackson, I think he's been a little bit wasteful. Even in the first game, he missed 2 or 3 chances. Yesterday, it was a similar situation. The man on the books of Chelsea on loan the last season at Bayern Munich, once again, clear-cut chances. He's failing to find the back of the net, and yet this is the next generation. If you're a Senegalese supporter, how can you be hopeful for the future when you've got Nicholas Jackson literally missing sitters game in, game out?
I think they've got enough depth in Senegal. A lot of the players in the team, for example, born in France or lived in France and moved on to play for Senegal. I think a lot more players will continue down that trend. Yes, Jackson has been quite, a disappointing striker in this particular tournament. But I don't think with that sort of form that he would continue to be the main striker for Senegal. I'm sure they will go back into the player market and try and identify a replacement or somebody who's more prolific in front of goal going forward from this tournament, having seen that, he's had the chances and not taken them.
Yeah.
So they will definitely have to look for more players to come in.
Maybe Papi Thiaw, the only bright spot is the fact that Ismail Sarr managed a brace in yesterday's encounter. So maybe something to build on for the next game, isn't it?
Oh, of course, I think, they'll be looking at the center forward. Yeah. At the moment, I don't think Jackson is worthy to be at the Senegal team because he's disappointed so much. This is the team that when you are playing for them, even the quality, it requires you to up your game. Mm-hmm. But look at yesterday's, because I was very disappointed. You talk about a center forward who is missing, even an offside sometimes while you are alone. It's better you score than it goes on there.
That point brings us to the end of Group I, which looks like this after match day 2 at the tournament. France on top with 6 points. Norway joining them on 6 points, just with an inferior goal difference of just 1. Senegal and, of course, Iraq both at the bottom. But Senegal with an opportunity probably in that match against Iraq. They'll need a very, very convincing performance and a very, very big scoreline in their favor, really, to put them in contention to be part and parcel of one of those third best teams at this particular World Cup. But we'll be hoping the Senegalese and Teranga Lions roll loudest against Iraq in their final encounter. Let's just quickly wrap up the matches from yesterday by looking at the official results that came in yesterday, beginning with Argentina's 2-0 victory over Austria. France were also victors over Iraq by 3-0. And it was Norway who edged that 5-goal thriller against Senegal in that particular encounter. And of course, finally, in the wee hours of today, the Desert Foxes of Algeria coming back from the death in that particular encounter to win 2-1 at the expense of Jordan. So that's a wrap in terms of reviewing what transpired yesterday. Let's quickly take a short break, catch our breath. On the other side of this particular break, we do talk in depth about our topic of discussion. Is Lionel Messi the greatest of all time? Stay with us.
When it comes to building, the biggest worry for people is, are they going to find the right products? Are they going to find good quality? Are they going to find long-lasting products? Here at Gemis Enterprises Limited, we deal in interior construction, which includes ceiling boards, tiling, painting, and we end it with the kitchen and the wardrobe. We are found in light industrial area of Lumumba Road behind MICMA. Our Facebook page is Gemis Home Recreation, and you can call me on 0966 30 98 33.
UTBM University, the prime institution for lifelong learning. Enroll your university education now. Call 0978 430872, 0977 766866. Email utbmuniversity@gmail.com or simply log to www.utbmuniversity.org.
Fabulous Engineering Limited, Zambia's largest and the most advanced engineering company. We have the following products: hydraulic pipe fitting, roller shutter doors, farming equipment, mining equipment, plasma cutting, surface grinders, shearing machines, spiral ducting pipes, rolling machines, flat bending machines. We install industrial plants and carry out all type of turning, machining, fabrication and engineering works. We also manufacture different sizes of locally made fabulous pots. For more details, visit our website www.fabulousengineering.com. Our new premises, we are located at plot number 7204 Kachiza Road, behind Migma, PO Box 38005, Lusaka, Zambia. Or call us on +2609557640111 or +2609796988382 or +26096906449. Fabulous Engineering Limited, Zambia's largest and the most advanced engineering company.
We thank you for the pleasure of your company and allowing us to be part and parcel of your viewing experience here at BMTV. Of course, BMTV giving you this dedicated program to the 2026 FIFA World Cup, dubbed Beyond the Whistle. Still with Ponga and of course Gezani. We have an interesting topic for today. Remember that every single edition of Beyond the Whistle, we bring a topic that doesn't necessarily to do with matters on the field of play, but sometimes has to do with matters off the field of play. And in this regard, today our topic of discussion is Leo Messi. Is he the greatest of all time? So basically, we're asking you to contribute via the comment section on our Facebook page with your thoughts regarding this particular topic. I know it's been raging for quite some time. In fact, over a decade and a half, maybe these two players have been hogging the highlights in as far as this debate of who is greater between Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo. But we're going to broaden it up and include, some of the other greats from yesteryears just to make the debate a little bit more interesting. But let me come to you first, Gezani. When you look at, that question, who do you think, in your mind, statistically, at least, is the greatest of all time?
Oh, it's one of those questions that are so difficult because it involves some emotions, involves some patriotism.
Yeah.
Those people who support
well, Godfrey
their
Yukachi is not part of the conversation. I can assure you. So patriotism goes out the window.
Yeah, of course. Of course. But again, when you talk about the greatest of all times, I think 4 players that we are going to mention that I think has been part of this debate should be really Brazilian Pele, Diego Armando Maradona, Ronaldo, Cristiano Ronaldo, and Lionel Messi. But at the moment, the one that is going to divide and stop the debate should be statistically. One, I'll talk about Brazilian Pele. He's the only player that has won the World Cup 3 times. And based on that, that's the most achieving statistics that people, they were just going to bank on. And he couldn't conquer Europe. I think it was difficult to watch him. Another one that you can bring in picture should be really Diego Armando Maradona. The one that scored. He really provided and single-handed in and give Argentina the World Cup in 1986. And he went to Napoli, transformed Napoli from a non-entity club to the club that was the champion. And you can talk about their success. But in terms of statistically, I'll tell you that I'll still agree that Lionel Messi is one of the best and the greatest of all times. Talking about his success, especially in Europe, 10 La Liga leagues in Spain is not a joke. 4 Champions Leagues is not a joke. It's something that really involves hard working. But again, he's won the World Cup at the moment. I think the debate recently has been embroidered within these 2 players, Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi. But at the moment, I can stand tall and make you and tell you that the purest talent that we've seen, that doesn't involve a lot of really, I think, hard working off the pitch. But whatever it trains is being exhibited on the pitch should be Lionel Messi.
Okay.
But in terms of hard-working and a man-made quality of a player, it can go to Ronaldo. But
they're being diplomatic because we're asking the question, who is the greatest? They can't all be the greatest.
No, of course, they can't be, but I need to tell the people why. Because this is the debate that, like I told you, is too emotional. Because people that have supported Manchester United, always they will defend and tell you that Ronaldo is the greatest. People that have really followed La Liga and they are supporters of Barcelona, they will tell you that Messi is the greatest. But according to the statistics, is what now defines who is the greatest. Hence, I agree with the statement, Lionel Messi is one of the greatest that we've ever had. Forget about Perez, forget about Ronaldo, Maradona's, but with the players that we've seen with our side, I think in my being of this generation, I can tell you that Lionel Messi is the best.
Okay, let's take, just a quick glance at some of the records that came tumbling down yesterday. In that performance by Messi, most World Cup goals scored. He scored the 17th and 18th yesterday. Most World Cup matches played, reached 28 appearances. That is where I was driving at. No player has had this longevity at the top, competing tournament after tournament after tournament. I think the argument, Ponga, probably you had the opportunity to watch Maradona and to watch, Lionel Messi. Could the answer of the greatest, player come down to the fact that Messi has been so consistent for so long, while Maradona maybe was just brilliant over the course of 1986 and 1980, which is a shorter period of time?
Yeah, I think Messi, when you look at the time he broke into the first team in Barcelona, 2006, we're now talking about 20 years later, and there he is, the top player in the world based on this World Cup till this point in time. I think that it in itself shows you that you're talking about a player who for 20 years has been at the top of his game. Diego Maradona came up, yes, had a year in Barcelona, then moved on, went to Napoli. Yes, did great things there, won a European trophy there with them. Also won the league, I think, 2 times with them for the first time ever in their history. But that was a short window. And I think when you look at greatness, the duration of that greatness must also come into play. And then also individually, I think Messi does things on the pitch that still take your breath away even now, 20 years later. And you see that and you say, wow.
Let's look at things statistically. And Gez mentioned something extremely important. The 4 players in question there, you can see them on your screen. Those are the official statistics in terms of, total number of goals that Lionel Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo, Pele, and of course Diego Maradona have scored. And yes, looking at the major trophies that they've won. Ponga, as you look at those statistics, statistically, who has got the greater argument to say that I can claim to be the best, at least on statistics basis?
Messi definitely has his name there. Pele, you're talking about over 1,000 goals, although some of them people question whether the records are that accurate. That's a talking point. Maradona, because of their shortness, you look at the career goals, it's only 340 because he was not there that long. So that doesn't work in his favor.
Does the 8 Ballon d'Ors at the bottom there, ahead of Cristiano Ronaldo's 5, tip the scale in the direction of Lionel Messi in this debate?
Well, what has I think built me in my analysis is that I dwell much on my statistics because statistics will not favor either you are a Catholic, either you are either whatever church you are going to go. But you are going to bring that and say, this is what happened. And it happened with this integrity and he labored for it. Whatever we do today, the commitment that we do, what is going to show is the numbers. So I think Messi, he's a god. He's one of the greatest.
So it's unanimous here. Lionel Messi, according to both of you, is the greatest of all time.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Well, at least we put it to bed here on, BMTV's Beyond the Whistle. And we hope to hear from you. And probably in subsequent programs, we'll be reading out some of those messages in regards to our topic of discussion. Is Lionel Messi the greatest of all time? My panel of experts here seem to think that he is the one. But let's move on to matters back onto the field of play. The English are taking on the Black Stars of Ghana in a match later on today. The England side always says that it's coming home, but it hasn't come home for the last 60 years. Will this be the year that the English bring it home, Gezani?
Well, it's very difficult. I think there's too much noise coming from England. I think saying that is coming home, but doesn't just come home straight. You have to labor for it. You have to fight with your lungs out, and I think it defines how you've prepared for this tournament. But again, you are coming against Ghana. Of course, Ghana, I think I watched them. They are not so convincing in terms of how they play their football. At the moment, they look like a team. Of course, I think I can't blame them so much because the coach just came in, I think, under 6 months and is able to, I think, to drive the team, and he's yet to learn the players.
Yeah.
I think, moreover, I think the quality of the players that Ghana they had in 2010, those that showed the passion of playing for the team, is totally different like the team they have today. The players doesn't look like they are playing as a team. Also, they are determined to perform for the team. I think that's what worries me. But in terms of England, if they find a chance, they're going to punish you.
Yeah.
But if you close up and they don't manage to play in the midfield, then you're able to close them up.
Yeah.
It's not difficult to deal with England. It's all about, I think, seeing them the game, play your game. Sometimes if in their zone, you let them play in their own area. But in terms of, I think, when you just have got a strong defense like the Cape Verde from the island, you identify the defense coming from the island, I think it becomes very difficult.
Ponga, so, the last time, Carlos Queiroz, sorry, to chip in, the last time Carlos Queiroz met an English side was at the 2022 FIFA World Cup. He was in charge of Iran. Alas for him, and maybe this is a bad omen for the Black Stars of Ghana, because that's his heaviest defeat as a manager at the World Cup. 6-2 defeat at the hands of the English in that particular World Cup. Do you expect a similar scoreline today, or maybe what they did against Panama, the Black Stars, suggests that it might be a closer affair?
Yeah, I think the Black Stars are definitely a level above what Iran was at the time when Carlos Queiroz was there.
Yeah.
Also, the fact that England are coming off the back in the friendlies before the World Cup, the 3-1 loss to Senegal, shows that there's some vulnerability in that English team.
Yeah.
But the question is whether this Ghanaian side has what it takes. I've got 100% faith in Carlos Queiroz because I've seen what he's done as a coach with the teams.
Yeah.
But I don't know if this Ghana has the depth, or it doesn't have the depth of previous Ghanaian teams.
Okay.
So that's their disadvantage. And also one or two players maybe past their best.
Yeah.
Are you up front is not a prolific striker, you know. If you had a number 9 who gave you 10, 15 goals in a tournament or in an African Cup of Nations, I would be more optimistic than what they have right now. But I would say it's not going to be plain sailing for England.
Yeah.
They're facing a Ghanaian side that comes with a lot of grit and determination and well organized under Carlos Queiroz.
Okay. They're welcoming this particular man, Thomas Partey, hugely experienced figure, formerly of Arsenal. So Thomas Partey missed the opening encounter, but he's back in this particular, Ghanaian setup because the match is being played in the US. What does Thomas Partey bring to this Ghanaian side that they will definitely need if they're going to get a result against the English?
Oh, the experience that he brings, I think, is amazing because he'll be meeting the players that I think I should be very conversant with them. Being, I think, a player that played for Arsenal, and he understands the likes of Rice, the likes of I think Bellingham. He understands them very well. Hence, I think he brings that protection that he can protect in the midfield. But again, the insight of how they can attack the Three Lions. So I think for me, it's a huge, news. I think in the camp of Ghana. But like Akoponga said, it's not an easy encounter for England.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I think England, they struggle a lot to beat African teams. Because African teams, they play their trade most of the times in England. And they understand them.
Yeah.
So I think there's no fear factor of them maybe being scared. Like I think when you are watching the players that you've never seen and you start studying the boots, no, I think they already know, they know what it takes to play against them. It's the game to watch, but I hope that Ghana can get something because I wouldn't love another African country to face an exit and to follow Tunisia.
Okay. Mbappe, Messi yesterday, and of course Haaland, all on target with braces in those encounters. The big question is, Can another superstar in that rank of, the English in Harry Kane follow suit, or do you expect the Black Stars to have a specific plan to stop him?
I think our defenders are quite rugged in African football. That's a difference that they bring to the game, their strength defensively. And I think this Ghanaian side, who can handle Harry Kane, because we are quite strong at the back, especially in the center of our defenses. We tend to have big, strong players there, which is a type of player Harry Kane would battle against in an English league. So he may find it maybe a bit more difficult than maybe some of the other sides he's played against.
Okay, let's move on to, Portugal's next match. They're up against one of the 4 teams that are making their debut at this particular World Cup in the form of Uzbekistan a little bit later on this particular evening. The big question on everybody's lips is surrounding this man, a certain Cristiano Ronaldo, because as things stand, and you'll be able to see the graphic, it doesn't read positively for this particular man. 33 shots he's had, 11 on target, no goals. This is in the last 10 matches at major competitions. We're talking about European Championships and, of course, FIFA World Cup. So even at the last World Cup, he really, really struggled, to hit the back of the net. If you're the coach of this Portuguese side, do you take a bold decision and say, well, look at those statistics, Gezani? I think it's time for you probably to sit this one out.
Well, it's a very difficult decision that you'll be able to make because, like today, everyone is eager to watch Cristiano Ronaldo. What excuse do you give the fans?
He hasn't been scoring. Those are the statistics. You yourself were saying that statistics don't lie. Me and you can use emotions.
Yes.
But the statistics don't lie. This is 10 games in major competitions. So when you want your leader to stand up for you, he's nowhere to be seen. He's scoring against Liechtenstein in friendlies and qualifiers.
Yeah, quite all right. You and me will understand that statistically it doesn't favor him to board a pitch.
Yeah.
But what of a layman that just understands that Ronaldo is one of the biggest.
Are you doing the job for layman to please layman or what?
I need to cater everyone.
Yeah.
It's my duty to tell the people, and that's the duty of the media, like you've done, collectively, to put the statistics there. I hope those people who are watching us now they'll believe and have the results.
They may not like us. That's huge family of Cristiano Ronaldo followers.
Yeah. So I think it is all about, be brave. I don't expect him to play 90 minutes.
Yeah.
Unless maybe if you have the first, maybe on the starting lineup, let's see how it's going to go. I know he's got pressure, but sometimes let us not give him a lot of pressure. This man, he worked for the team.
Yeah.
This man has done it massively very well for Portugal. But in terms of, in terms of success, this World Cup, we don't need to expect a lot because even his pace has gone down. Like I told you, most of the players who are playing in Saudi Arabia, I think their pace has just dwindled. Okay. So I hope the coach will be able to manage this situation very, very well. But in terms of even if he was on the substitution part this evening, I will understand that.
Okay.
I will really understand that.
Ponga, you're given the reins to be coach of the Portuguese national team. Do you name it in your starting lineup?
Roberto Martinez, I think, will name him.
Yeah.
Simply because history has
I'm asking
shown
whether you would name him.
I wouldn't.
Okay.
History has shown the previous coach who dropped Ronaldo, I think, and brought in somebody else. I think it was in Qatar. He paid the price for that. Martinez doesn't want to pay the price. He's at the World Cup.
Yeah.
He wants to make an impression. He wants to stay there as long as possible. So I don't think he'll be brave enough to make that type of decision.
Under a minute, we're going to look at, the DRC's statistics in their opening encounter against Portugal. One particular interesting stat is right at the bottom there. Portugal with 75% and the DRC with only 25%, Gezani. But the DRC still managed to get a credible draw from that game against the Portuguese. You expect them to employ a more defensive tactic and apply the approach of if it's not broken, then don't try and fix it.
Well, I think but this is the type of football that we've watched at the World Cup. Very amazing. I'll give you a good example. When Cape Verde played their first game, they became more defensive because they were playing against Spain.
Yeah.
Congo, Dr. Congo, when they were playing against Portugal, they knew that they are meeting a team that is very difficult in terms of the pace, in terms of, I think, their midfielders. Fernandez is very deadly sometimes. He's able to move the ball, he's able to shoot, he's able to score. Hence, they decided to make sure that the discipline was there in terms of the defending. But this, today, in the morning tomorrow, you will see a bit change over Dr. Congo. Why? Because now they understand. They have felt it at the World Cup. They know how they can play their football. It is not about defending. They'll go out to attack as well. Because they played 5 defenders. In transformation, they were having 5 defenders just to man Portugal. Yeah. But in the morning, they will not try to play the 5 men at the back. Yeah. They can go. Now they have got, the fear has been, I think, being sorted out because they have got experience. The likes of Bakambu should be really, I think, coming to the party. Talks about, I think, Johan also needs to score another goal. Yeah. You saw how he celebrated when he just scored that brilliant goal. Yes. So I think for me, in the morning, to be all about, I think, winning this one. And I can tell you that Dr. Congo is winning this one, and Africa will be very proud of them. You kind of preempted what I was about to say, but let's just quickly look at the fixtures the viewers can look forward to over the course of today and tomorrow. Portugal begin with the match against Uzbekistan at 19 hours Central African time. Then it's the chance for England to lock horns with Ghana at 22 hours Zambian time. Into the matches tomorrow, it's Panama up against Croatia at 01 hours Zambian time. And of course at 04, Colombia lock horns with Dr. Congo, as Gezani likes to refer to them. Ponga, you have the opportunity to have the last say. As you look at those fixtures, which one is a standout fixture, and how do you see the predictions going in those 4 matches?
Yeah, I mean, for me, African teams, I always look out for them. I think Congo against Colombia will be a good one. Yeah. Colombia may not be as positive as the Portugal's team was against Congo. So Congo may be more flexible in opening up and taking the game to them much more than they did against the Portuguese. I think that makes a good match for that one as well. You expect Panama to cause Croatia any problems, or the Croatians to bounce back after that loss against England? Yeah, I think Croatia has taken a dip. It's not the Croatia of old. Panama is obviously not the biggest of opponents. So I think Croatia there should be comfortable enough to get the result. England versus Ghana, don't use emotions like a certain Gezani. England, Ghana, tough game for both sides, but I think England will edge it. Yeah, based on what they have in the team. They've definitely got the edge in terms of quality over the Ghanaians. Portugal in the first one against Uzbekistan, difficult one because Portugal are struggling up front. It depends on whether Martinez is brave enough to make some changes or not. I think if he sticks to Ronaldo, Portugal will pay a heavy price for that. Maybe not necessarily lose, but not get the sort of result that they're expecting in terms. They might limp over the line. Let's put it that way. They could limp over the line. Okay. Based on the creativity of the other players in the Portuguese side. Okay. Guess it's been a pleasure. Ponga, always a pleasure to have both of you guys on set. Your insights are extremely invaluable to the show here, and we'll call upon you as subsequent programs do avail themselves. Thank you. Thank you. So that's a wrap in terms of this edition of Beyond the Whistle. I've been your host, Isaac Chipatanga, on behalf of a brilliant production team behind the scenes, ensuring that you get the best picture quality and sound. My name is Isaac Chipatanga. Bye-bye and God bless.